We had to have a bit of a launch to raise money to ensure that we can keep this amazing hoard right here in the New Forest where it was found, where it belongs. And these kids are helping me, they're learning about it. We got cameras down, we're trying to just create a bit of a buzz so that it convinces local people to give us some money. You've got to understand the history of where you grew up. It's about who you are. If these young people want to understand why they live in this area, why it's got a particular character, why they speak English, they've got to understand the history. Actually buried treasure. How many times do you read about buried treasure in stories? There's actually buried treasure here in the New Forest. Who'd have thought?
But I've read it in stories that aren't actually true.
I know, and here it's true. In the New Forest where we live, isn't that cool?
They're quite amazing, and extraordinary because they're really old. And knowing they were found also close to where we live. Yeah, that was extraordinary as well.
So you bury the money because maybe some bad people are coming to steal it. The trouble is it's still there, so what's that mean?
It's been buried for a long time.
Yeah, but the person who buried it...
We'll never find it.
We found it here, and if it goes to a different country, they're probably going to say that they found it, but we found it.
Which is your favourite coin? Can you see any...
Probably this one.
I think it might be that one.
Oh, you like that one?
Mine's that one, actually.
I think it's quite incredible that the coins they didn't know where they were, and they just started metal detecting and then found over under nearly 1 million coins.
I think these coins are really important. There's 1,600 of them. It's some very unusual emperors. It's from a very weird time of Roman history when the empire was fragmenting. I think it's a really interesting find, and I think it's going to be celebrated properly in Lymington Museum. Right, we are gathered in this courtyard today because something very important is happening in the New Forest. We have found buried treasure. Yes, buried treasure. 1,600 coins were buried very close to here. We can't tell you exactly where they were buried because you might try and go and steal them. But they were buried very close to here, and they were found the other day. And they were buried nearly 2,000 years ago. Now that money might go up to London and sit in a museum in London, or it might come to Lymington. Where do you think it should be?
Lymington!
That's exactly right. We want it to be in Lymington, don't we? Because we want to go and look at this, 1,600 coins in that museum. It's a great museum, get dressed up there, I go all the time, it's a good museum. And that's why we're about to launch a big fundraising campaign. We're going to ask all the grown-ups for their money to keep this money in the New Forest, to keep it in Lymington. So do you want to help me do that?
Yeah!
I think they were buried because there was trouble afoot, and the landowner, the person who owned the coins, the person who had the wealth, buried them underground for safekeeping, but he didn't make it. He was killed or captured or something, and that's why the coins remain there for 2,000 years. Hi everyone, I'm Dan Snow, and I have donated to keep the Boldre Hoard here in the New Forest. They belong in Lymington. Please join me and make sure they can be kept down here and displayed properly for future generations to enjoy.